Hey adventurers, so today is going to be another book review. This is going to be for The Blood Mirror by Brent Weeks. This is a high fantasy, epic fantasy, military fantasy to some degree, coming of age to a fair degree as well. Just a lot of the subgenres that come along with the Lightbringer series by Brent Weeks. So The Blood Mirror is book 4 of the Lightbringer series by Brent Weeks. And it's one that I've actually been waiting years to get to, and that's kind of a bad thing in some ways, especially in the sense that it's been years since I read book 3, and so there's a lot of things that have happened that I don't remember all the details in. Some of the characters, I don't remember all the intricacies of what's going on with characters and stuff like that, and so it took me a long time to get back to this, but I do have a fairly decent reason for that, and I think I get to that in a second here. In fact, I think that's the next thing that I start talking about in what I have written. So I've been waiting for years to get to this book, but by the time that I arrived at it, meaning having read books 1, 2, and 3, my library had lost the audiobook. And not when I say lost, that I'm just saying that they didn't have it anymore. They didn't have access to it anymore, whether that was, or at least on Libby. And so what I assume happened is they lost their what's it called? I cannot think of things. I cannot think of words. License. Their license for it expired or something like that, and so they didn't have the audiobook anymore. And because of that, I was like, okay, well, I'll just wait for them to get it back. And it was years past, and they weren't getting it back, so I just caved and bought it on Audible so that I could actually listen to it and continue through the series. Yeah, so let's see. Eventually, it never did, so I caved and bought it on Audible so that I could continue and finish out the series finally. That's interesting how similar my just off the top of my head explanation was to what I had actually written. But let's continue. It's been a long time since I've talked about this series. I remember really enjoying book 1 and then books 2 and 3 as well, but while the stories were awesome, there was more and more language and adult content that made me enjoy the books less. That's pretty similar with this book. I'll just leave it at that and continue on here. Before I get into the rest of this review, though, I just quickly like to say welcome to An Erudite Adventure. I'm T. If you're liking what you're seeing from us, please like, comment, and subscribe. So there's a lot that happens in this book. Kip's storyline is very solid. I thought that was a good storyline. He's growing, he's learning, he's becoming a man and a leader. And those are good things to see, especially after where he starts in book 1. There's been a lot of growth that has gone into his character, and I really appreciate seeing that. There's still a lot of speculation about him and his future, and he's very unsure in a lot of areas. But with the growth that he's had comes confidence. Confidence in his abilities, confidence in himself, confidence in his team. And that's all very good stuff. It's really good to see that from him, see him grow into the leader that he has been over the past few years has been trained to be. I don't actually know what the timeline is on these books, but over the past 3 books, he has been trained to be. So yeah, it's very good, even if we don't know exactly where he'll end up. We're definitely supposed to assume some things about him, but from the beginning, those assumptions have not been confirmed. And there does remain a level of uncertainty with that. And that's something that I actually do like. I don't need this mystery to be revealed in book 1. I think that we suspect the answer because we know the tropes and stuff like that, but it's kind of nice to have it challenged still as we continue to go through in a way that is realistic. The other main storylines, those of Tia, I think is her name, and Gavin, are very strong as well. Tia's story of being a blackguard and a peril drafter, and what both of those things mean, are coming together in this book, and it's not really a clean storyline for her either. It's something that is very interesting, but it's not a clean storyline where just you see the path from here to the end and you know exactly what's going to happen along the way. No, it's very much a realistic in the sense that we don't know what's going to happen. The character is taking the next step in their journey, and that's just what it's going to be, and hopefully that turns out for the best. Hopefully they make good decisions, all that kind of stuff, but we really don't know until we see it happen. So yeah, it's not an easy, clean story for her either, but she is constantly moving out of Kip's shadow in the sense of the reader's interest in her especially. She is truly coming into her own as a character and as a point of view, POV. Gavin, on the other hand, is simultaneously fascinating and frustrating. This is the story that I think causes problems for most readers who dislike the series. I can absolutely see how this book would influence people's opinions of this entire series with a lot of the events that happen in this book, especially regarding Gavin's storyline. Because it's just so wild and unexpected that it almost doesn't work. Almost. I truly don't know how I feel about it still, and I think it will depend on how the rest of the story is executed in book 5. I don't automatically hate it. Absolutely not. I think that it's interesting. I think that it's an intriguing way to take the story. Probably not what I would have done, but that doesn't mean that it's bad by any means. So I'm very intrigued by it, but I don't know if I like it, but I definitely don't hate it at the moment. I've been so fascinated with all that has gone on up to this point, but now I'm kind of questioning everything that we've seen, and it's kind of retrospectively introducing a bit of a unreliable narrator to the first 3 books in the series and what all the events that have happened there. So I'm very interested in seeing how Weeks wraps this up in book 5. Overall, I think that it is a very strong book, and even with the confusion and twists that have come in, I still greatly enjoyed it. My biggest problem by far is the amount of adult content in this book. I don't need it, and I don't want to see it, and that does bring my overall enjoyment down a fair bit. But I can and do still recognize the quality of the story, and I'm very excited to finish the series finish up the series with book 5 in the near future. At the time of filming this, it is January 25th. I read Lightbringer back in July of 2025, and so it's been 6-7 months basically since I read Blood Mirror, and I'm gonna wrap the series up very soon here, definitely in Q1 of 2026. And yeah, I'm very excited to close out this series so that I can move on from it, but also just to see how the series ends, because I have enjoyed it a good amount. So anyways, that is my review of the Blood Mirror book 4 of the Lightbringer series by Brent Weeks. Thank you guys for watching an Erudite adventure. We post videos every Monday and Thursday and have our social medias linked in the description down below. We will see you guys again soon. Stay warm.